Hi, everybody. My name is Jenna Nilo. I am the Director of Marketing and Outreach with Illinois Digital Educators Alliance. Thank you so much for joining us today. In a minute, I am going to turn things over to Adam with Screencastify, who's going to take us through getting started with Screencastify. But before I do so, just a few quick housekeeping items, and we've kind of went over a lot of this already, but do me a favor and do keep yourself muted throughout the presentation. That way we won't hear anybody's background noise. Like I said, as soon as those kids start yelling in the background or my dog starts barking, it does get distracting. So in a second here, I'm going to do the same thing and mute myself. Also, probably keep your video off. Adam, that gives Adam the spotlight. And then we don't see anybody's kids walking through the background shirtless or anything like that, because usually that happens to me. So there you go. So if you just keep your microphone muted and your video off, then Adam gets the spotlight. And like I said, I'm going to do the same thing in a minute here. We are recording today's session. So everybody who registered for the session will be getting an email from me tomorrow morning. And in that email will include the link to the recording. It will include the link to the presentation, to the slide deck, as well as a link to a PDF of the chat file that everybody is going to be utilizing today. So I will have any links that come up in the chat file clickable for you so that you can just go ahead and use that resource as well. So that will be an email coming from me tomorrow morning. And then the webinar will be posted on our website for perpetuity. So we'll put it on our YouTube channel and put it on the website as well. So anytime you guys can go back to it as a resource, and you can look at all of our other fabulous webinars that we've been doing over time. So there you go. Last but not least, if you are looking for PDHs, Illinois educators, if you're looking for your PDHs, anybody else, if you get credit for certificate of completion, at the end of the session, I will be putting a link in the chat window as well. Illinois does require live attendance, so we do it at the end of the session. And you're just going to go ahead and click that link. It's the Google form. You're going to give us some information. We're going to email you back your certificate of completion. So go ahead and look for that link at the end. I will pop back on and let you know that it's coming. I think I hit everything. So without further ado, Adam, I am going to turn things over to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can't wait to hear all the great things that we have with Screencastify. So I'm going to zip myself. You'll only hear me if you do put questions in the chat throughout. Again, I think I said this, I don't know. Use the chat for questions. So if you do have questions, I will be monitoring that chat window, and every so often you'll hear my voice come over and throw out those questions to Adam. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, thank you. That was a great introduction. I think you covered basically everything, right? So yep, it's being recorded. Everything will be shared with you afterwards. I do have the slide, this tiny URL, Adam Ideas Screencastify, if you would like them right away. But again, it'll be emailed to you. But I like starting off with an SEL check-in to see how we are all doing. And so if you don't mind dropping an emoji in the chat, you can interpret my zombie as Halloween themed or that it's been a long day, however you take it. But if you are on a Windows device, you press the Windows key, as you can see here, plus the period key, and that'll bring up your emojis. If you are on a Mac, you can do Command Control Space, or Control Command Space. I did that in the wrong order, I apologize, but Control Command Space to put it in there. Also, if you don't know how to do that, you can always do the emojis that are in Slack, or the reactions, I believe they're called, however you want to do it. So we're getting a lot of smiley faces, which is good. Some fireworks, that's always exciting. Some crazy faces. It's probably been a crazy day. Shrug shoulders, that's good. So hopefully it looks like everybody's doing well. If you're not doing well, I'm sorry, and hope your day improves as we go on. But I really do appreciate you taking your time out of your busy day to be here with us. I know that teacher time is very precious. I'll go into my full background in just a second about myself, but I'm a former high school history teacher, so I understand all of what you are doing. So as I said, my name is Adam Rummelhart. You can follow me on Twitter at Adam Rummelhart, shameless Twitter plug. I also put my email up there. If you have questions, you can reach out to me via email. The emoji for Windows is a game changer. I know it's like the secret hidden thing people don't know about, all the emojis, and it makes my life amazing. And then we have our education resources there. So as I said, I'm a former high school history teacher, and then I did 5 years of professional development. I was a trainer for Microsoft, and then now I work at Screencastify as a success manager. So really working with all those teachers to make sure we are all successful. And this isn't a picture of my classroom, actually, if some people who think it is, but this is the school that I taught at. It was in the old Maria High School. It was a charter school that came from an old Catholic school building. And so I looked at this picture from 1962, and see our nun here, right, teaching math. And I kind of had a moment, an aha moment when I was teaching, where I was standing in a class and I was wondering, how was I teaching differently than the nuns who taught in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s? And the answer really is that I wasn't. If you look at these two pictures, right, they are exactly the same. This desk you can actually see in the back of the room and along the side are the same desks from 1962. So same way, teacher on the stage, sage on the stage, however you want to call it. Me talking, students listening, not necessarily the best way to do it. And so I don't know if there's any Office fans, but what's the difference between those two pictures? There isn't any, right? I was teaching the same way. And so that brought me into how can I use technology to innovate my classroom? That kind of brought me to my role at Screencastify. And we're going to talk about how this could have improved my learning as a student, how this could have improved my teaching, and hopefully can improve your lives as well. This is our big growing success team, growing so much that I don't have anybody's picture. But maybe if you reach out at some point to one of us, one of our awesome team will answer. But our focus for today is we're going to start with the power of pause. So how can I enable students to learn at their own pace? Mindful modeling. So how can I enhance videos to improve learning and understanding? And then robust replies. One of my favorite things is Screencastify isn't just for teachers, it's for students as well. So how can I quickly check in on my students' learning? And also, how can I use this time for social emotional learning as well? I feel like that's a big thing missing. And then what should we do moving forward? So I want to be mindful of time. I'm going to get started. I will do stop and checks periodically. So if you have a question, please just drop it into the chat. If I don't get to it right away, we'll make sure to circle back. But if you have questions at any point, please drop it into that chat. So we're going to start with the power of pause. So if you jump into that chat, what do you think of when you hear the phrase power of pause? So I'm going to give us, let's say 45 seconds to type into the chat and see power of pause. So what do you think when you hear that phrase? Please type in the chat. Ooh, thank you guys. Immediate participation. Think time, wait time. Silence is golden. I like that one. Reflection. Stop, think, react. I like that one. Take a breath and think before speaking. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate everybody coming in and giving their awesome answers. Give a few more seconds if anybody wants to put anything in. That loaded silence when I saw their mama. I'm never good at like the wait for it. Like I'm going to wait for students. I was never good at that. So if someone has a really good, we're able to wait and get people to pay attention, let me know. Oh, and I love this one. It's a good one to end on. We have digest and allowing everyone to catch up, because that kind of feeds into my thought when I heard power of pause. Everybody should remember this. I don't know if anybody's still teaching using this. I've had a couple teachers still use it. But when I think of power of pause, I remember in math class, I had a 504 plan. I had some trouble with my eyes, so I sat right next to our overhead projector, or Elmo. My teacher would be writing the math on those clear sheets of paper. She'd write it down. And then once she was done, she'd immediately put it on my desk because she knew I'd be behind. And I just wish that I had that pause button so that I was able to catch up, to take a break, to digest what I was learning. Because I was so focused on trying to take down her notes, right, and catch up and not be that kid, I didn't digest. I didn't learn. And so that's one of the benefits, right, of asynchronous learning that we're kind of being forced into right now is that ability to pause. So if you actually look at one of the ISTE standards here, 1B, students build networks and customize their learning environments in ways that support the learning process. So I love that they customize their learning environments. And so I think this is one of the ways that we can do that. So you can create a video that students can pause and rewatch. So for example, here we have Laura, and we'll take a listen to her example about pausing.
Hi class. Today we're going to begin talking about a comprehension strategy called asking questions. Good readers ask themselves questions as they read to help them understand the text and to figure out the deep meaning of the book. Let me show you how we use questions every day in our lives to help us understand people, places, and situations better. Today, I have put an ordinary object hidden in this paper bag, and I want you to figure out what is in this bag by asking questions.
So you can see there we have our video that she was able to record. We call that a webcam video. And so hopefully you've all installed the Screencastify extension. If you want to give me a reaction on Zoom to show that you've installed it and used it before, that'd be great to kind of get a, so how about if I can get a thumbs up if you've used Screencastify before, so we can get a kind of baseline. I see a couple people using the thumbs. Some people say, oh, still not installed. Perfect. We can do that today too. I'm getting a couple of thumbs out there. What we can do here is if you have not installed it, what you can do though, it looks like I'm hearing some background if someone wants to go through and mute themselves. That way we don't have any of that feedback. That'd be great. Thank you. So I have a nice GIF here. If you didn't know, you can make GIFs or GIFs with Screencastify. And we also have a video because we love videos available there at that bit.ly. But basically, you just go to screencastify.com, click that big blue button, add to Chrome. You add the extension. It's going to set up to sign in with Google. The best part about Screencastify, right, is that we don't actually save any of your videos. They all save to your Google Drive. We'll talk more about that in a second. So that makes it super simple for you to use. And then you have some permissions to allow. The two big ones are your mic and webcam, obviously, so that we can see your beautiful faces and we can hear your beautiful voice. The other one talks about getting access to the website. That's because of our drawing tools we're going to talk in a second. It's not actually accessing any data, but it's writing on top of it. So we have that as well. So if you would like to get a little bit more, you can go to that bit.ly install SC. But otherwise, just go to screencastify.com. It's super easy. So perfect. Looks like we are ready to keep going. Went back too far. And so we'll skip that for a second. So we want you to do to practice a webcam recording, because it looks like we still have some people who have not yet recorded. So what we're going to do today is we're going to click on the Screencastify extension. So that's going to be that little arrow at the top right of your Google Chrome. We are a Chrome extension. You can see it right there at the top right. If you don't see it, you're going to click a puzzle piece, and then that'll show you where it's at. We're going to choose a webcam only recording. So webcam only recordings, why is that awesome? Well, it lets students see your face, right? And focus in on you rather than just a blank screen. It's more personable. So we really love that. And so we can test our webcam. We can click on the blue record button, and then we can click stop. So if you want to go ahead and practice, I'm going to give us some time to practice. And so we just go click at that top, webcam only. We'll see that our mic is working. And we can go ahead and record a video. So what I want you guys to do is go ahead and create a video that would introduce a new topic. So it can just be, hey, hi, how's it going? Just practice, not going anywhere, so we can get the experience of walking through recording it. So I'm going to give a moment to do that and leave this up, and then I'm going to walk through it myself. So we do have a great question while you do that. It says you use it daily, but it keeps telling you you're out of disk space. So Screencastify, we suggest having 1 GB of open disk space on your computer. Because what happens is we actually record that video and it saves a copy to your computer momentarily. And then once you're done recording, it automatically begins uploading to your Google Drive. So that's why we need that available gig space, because we need to take up some space recording it. So there's some tips and tricks on our website you can do as well. I don't know if you've seen that one before. I'm going to go bring that up real quick for you. If you ever need some help, you can always go to learn.screencastify.com. It's got so many awesome things in here, and I'm going to do the load disk space one and drop that into the chat for you. But basically give you some hints too about saving some space as well, like doing just a browser recording and things like that. So we do have some awesome options for you. 92 videos, that's awesome. Yep, multi-videos are the videos longer. Another suggestion that sometimes we have is you record shorter chunks and then you're able to combine them in our editor. How do you stop recording? I don't see the button. That is a great point. You can go up. Let me do it right now for us. So we do also have shortcut keys that some people like to use. So I'll bring that up for a second and drop that in the chat as well. But we're getting great questions here. She's probably sitting there, or they're probably sitting there being like, how do I record? So you can stop by either doing Alt-Shift-R or Option-Shift-R, or you just click on the extension again. So for those of you who've gone through already, you've seen this, but we can do our desktop browser tab. We're going to do just a webcam, so it'll just see me. And then you'll be able to hit record. And I think it gives me a little bit weird with Zoom, so I don't know what will happen if it records me. But you see it'll record here, and then it went away. I can then come back up, click the extension, and then hit stop there, which is pretty awesome. And what you guys have awesome seen, if I look at my beautiful face, is that once you've already saved the video, right, it's immediately saving to your drive. So you have the option right there to immediately get that shareable link and share out to your students, fellow teachers, whoever needs it. You can also share right here via Google Classroom or even publish to YouTube. We do even have more options that you can add, like we have Edpuzzle, Wakelet, and Remind. Let me turn those on for us. But there we go. You can immediately share it in so many different ways. You can download it. So I've seen a lot of teachers share to Google Classroom because that's what they're primarily using. But I've seen a lot of people also use Edpuzzle and other great tools. So I want to take a moment here to kind of summarize what you learned. So you can type it in there, or you could even use a Screencastify video and paste a shareable link in the chat if you feel brave. But let's summarize what you just learned and perhaps give us, how would you use this in your class? How would you record webcam only video? So an example would be to introduce a new topic like Laura did of just me recording. So that'd be a good example. Also during this time, if you would like to pop in any questions you have, I can also answer them as well. So give us about 30 seconds to kind of summarize what we learned. Drop into the chat, how would you use a webcam recording? And again, I told you I'm terrible at the teacher wait time thing, so help me out. Love that, Terry. More options than I realized for ways to access and share the video. So the countdown, the top is 20 seconds, I believe, if that's what you're asking, Maria. So the top of that one is, I think you get 3, 5, 10, 20 is the last kind of countdown you get. I love that, right? Lots of uses for in-person learning and remote. There's so many great things that you can do with this in person as well. I have a lot of people who, like Connie said, step-by-step directions. They'll do their directions within Screencastify, right? So that they're not, a student can pause it. How many times do you have to say directions to your students? Record the directions and then they can pause and go at their own pace. Looks like Freeman posted in a video if you want to check that out. Thank you so much for that. And let's keep them coming. So as we kind of move from the power of pause here on, I like putting this up, history of remote learning. And I put the caveat, is this remote learning or is this something else? Because I think we got thrown in there. But I think it's an interesting, as being a former history teacher, I think it's kind of interesting, right, that it actually began in the 1840s and 1850s, right? Is that you had an English professor teaching by mail. College of London in 1858 was doing it by mail as well. 1956, they were broadcasting it on TV. 1984 was first virtual, was on TV learning as well. And then now look at how many people learn virtually, which is awesome. And so I think about that as well, as that we moved to remote learning. How many people took college courses that are remote? Or even right now, people take online classes. A lot of my classes in college were online. So it is a life skill. It is something to do. But I also think that we can move kind of past this as well. Many of you are probably familiar with the SAMR model. If you're not, substitution, augmentation, modification, redefinition. This is a model that people use, a spectrum, or I call it a swimming pool, of how to integrate technology into the classroom. I like calling it a swimming pool because the beginning of it is the substitution in the shallow end. It's difficult, right, to take something and use it as technology. We are all capable of, let's say, sharing a Google Doc with our students. So instead of printing out a worksheet, we share it via Google Docs or Microsoft or however we do it. We email it to everybody, right? That would be substitution. Many in the way that now, instead of maybe lecturing in person, we record ourselves lecturing. We're just substituting. But we're going to teach you some tools that hopefully will help you be able to augment that learning and even modify it and redefine it. So using different things in the technology that can really get you into that deep end. And I think it doesn't matter where we swim or how comfortable we see swimming in the shallow end or the deep end. I think it's important that we're trying. But I also want to give us the tools and the support that we can use to kind of dive into that deep end. I also love how we have someone saying here, right, that help teachers with tech issues. For example, they got a new copier machine and no one could figure out how to scan it. So they did a video on it. That's pretty cool. I actually saw on Twitter just yesterday, we're going to talk about Submit a little bit at the end, that a teacher has their students use Submit, Screencastify Submit, to submit any tech issues that they have to them. So that's another tool. So as we move along, mindful modeling, how can I enhance videos to improve understanding? So back to our kind of ISTE standards here, students curate information from digital resources using a variety of tools and methods to create collections of artifacts that demonstrate meaningful connections or conclusions. So I like that curate digital information. So you can create a screen recording while modeling. So if you can see the difference here, Laura is actually going to create a screen
Today, I would
recording.
like you to read the following 2 passages about human nutrition, noting what they have in common and where they differ. This is passage 1, and underneath it is passage 2. When you're finished, I'd like you to type your answers to the questions below. Which of the following passages did you enjoy reading more and why? What differences between the 2 passages stood out to you? And what similarities in the passages were apparent to you?
So a lot of you guys talked about directions and using it that way. This is an example of how you can use the screen recording only, or a browser tab in this case, to really focus your students in. So as we said, we have browser tab, desktop, and webcam. Browser is great because it's just that tab. Nothing else is going to pop up or show. So if you want to practice using this one, maybe bring up a document you're currently working on, directions or how to do something, like go to, let's say, how do you guys use Schoology or whatever your LMS is, you can do that. And so you can click on that extension like we said before. You can then select Browser tab. We can test our sounds. We can always show more options to change that countdown. And then we can click the record button and click on the extension to stop button, or you can use the Alt-Shift-R on a PC. They should work on a Chromebook, Megan. Megan asked, do the keyboard shortcuts work on a Chromebook? If they are not, let me know or follow up with email. I can double check. I believe, but I don't want to speak out of hand because hopefully they're working on yours. If not, I can follow up to see, but they believe they do as well. So I'm going to give you guys a moment to go ahead and do a browser tab recording. Thank you, Megan, for trying again later. We'll see. If not, I'll give you my email again at the end. We can follow up. And so as you can see, right, you can click on that extension, select just your browser tab. So it's only going to be that Chrome tab. With the hide more options, this is where we can change that countdown. So 5, 10, oh, it's only up to 10 seconds. I apologize. I think I said 20 earlier. 3, 5, 10. We're going to talk about our drawing tools in a second to show. And then we can also turn on tab audio. So if for some reason you would like to, oh, we have a good question. What is tab audio? So let's say I want the video that Laura's done to keep in the recording. I want to hear what she's saying. I have to toggle on tab audio in order to hear her. So just like in your Zoom meetings or Google Meet, you have to click to do system audio or tab audio, right? Depending on your system. You have to go ahead and do that in Screencastify as well. So tab audio if you want to hear a video. And then when you hit record, it'll do the countdown. Oh, I kept my webcam on, but that's okay. And then I'm able to do recording. And then we also have our drawing tools here at the bottom left. And so if you didn't know about these drawing tools, you can draw different colors over the screen. So if you wanted to highlight a certain thing, you could. You can also do the pointer. You can change what you want your pointer to be. You can do focus. So I want my students to focus in on a certain part of the screen. I can do that with the focus. I can also do highlight clicks. So when I click on something, it'll highlight it and do a big, nice click off the focus, go to highlight clicks. When I click, it'll do a nice little click, as you can see there, to show where it's at. Those are really great for step-by-step direction videos. And I can also hide the cursor when it's not being moved. So we have a lot of cool options here. And I'm going to go ahead and stop this video. Actually, I'm going to make sure this is paused so I'm not making any noise. And jump back into our presentation. So you can see how Laura changed her video and enhanced it using these tools, right? So she's doing something different that she wouldn't have been able to do in person.
The following two passages about human nutrition, noting what they have in common and where they differ. So our two passages for today, we've got the first one is going to be on nutrition and health, the association between eating behavior and various health parameters. And the second passage is a little bit further down the page, the science behind healthy eating patterns. I want you to read both of these and look for things that are the same. So things that they have in common mean similarities, and things that are different or where they differ.
So we can see how she enhanced her video by annotating. And so I just demonstrated, you can click that toolbar. We have another GIF here as well that shows all the different options that we have. So again, you can do different colors, and this is an old GIF I need to update. You can do different colors, check marks. You can do the focus mouse to focus in on a certain area, do a lot of different cool things. So to get the tools back, you should be able to hover for your question. If you're marking your task, but now you can't stop recording. You should be able to go back into the bottom corner. That should be there unless you hit the X. And then you should be able to click on it, and then you'll be able to unclick your tools. If you clicked the X, we do have the shortcut key. If I bring my master shortcut keys back up, you can see that you can Alt-T or Option-T is what you could do to get and remove the tools. There's actually a lot of cool handy shortcuts in here that I'd suggest. I believe I dropped that in the chat already, but I'm going to drop it back again for you just to make it nice and convenient. So I wonder, what are some ways that you can use the annotation features within Screencastify? So that's some ideas that you can either record a video or type your responses. So for example, what I love is I see a lot of math teachers that they do quick equations in there as well. We look like we have some, Amy did it privately, but I'm going to share with everybody. She said sight reading. I love that idea as well, that you can highlight, circle different parts of the text. That's really awesome. What's some other ideas? Again, I'm terrible at teacher wait time, so you have to help me out. I feel like I'm back in the classroom. I'm waiting. You have to let me know, is this what it's like for now teaching remotely? Is that you have to sit here and be like, come on. I'm just going to assume that you're all recording videos. And so that way you all do that. Oh, sorry, I'm switching my thing. Perfect. So everybody's got all awesome ideas in here. And so then the last one I want to talk about is robust replies. So how can you quickly check in on student learning? So how many of you have heard of Submit? Either in the chat, give me like a thumbs up emoji, a yes, or you can do a thumbs up on Zoom as well. I'm got a nope if you've never heard of Submit. Have not. Perfect. So like the other Screencastify tool, well, now I hope, perfect. Tools, this one is free. The only caveat for this one, I'll just say right off the top bat before I explain more, is that you can only have one open assignment at a time. That's the only caveat for the free version. If your school has purchased Submit, you can have as many assignments open up as you want. But this one is just, you have one assignment, and when you're done with it, you close it. You can start a new one, but you just have one open at a time. So robust replies. Students choose the appropriate platforms and tools for meeting the desired objections of their tools. So there's so many different ways that you can participate. So right, you can share with their students via Google Drive. They can record the extension themselves. You can app smash with Edpuzzle or Wakelet, or we can use our Submit. I hit escape here for a second. And while I move to Submit, before I do that, Connie had a great question. How many students can participate in the one open assignment? I have not run into a limit. I don't know what the limit is, but I know that teachers have used it with hundreds of students before. Like college professors have used it with like 200 people in a course before that I have heard. So I have heard it be up to a couple hundred, but I don't know the exact amount, but I can follow up. So from my extension, I'm going to go over to I did that really quickly, my apologies. This little hamburger at the top left. If I click that, you notice this is where I can get to my recordings, my description, and then I also have Submit right here that I can click on. This brings you to kind of your home page, right? You're going to notice this is where you have, let me exit out of some of this stuff. The videos are probably taking up some of my internet speed, but we have our record. So this is where you can open up your recordings, your editor, if you wanted to edit, and our awesome Submit. You'll be able to tell what account you have. This is where your account is. We're going to ignore this because it's just mine. It'll show record, edit, submit. Yours will either say free and then you'll update it up here, or it'll say managed by another user, meaning your school has it. But we'll go to Submit. So Submit right here is very simple. I already created a link right here. But what it is you're able to hit new assignment, and you're able to send your students a magic recording link. So they don't need to have the extension installed in order to participate. Right now, it's still just on like Chromebooks and PCs, so not mobile just yet. There's some stuff there, but we're going to focus primarily on computers. So when you click that, you get to choose what type of recording you want. So if, let's say, you want both screen and webcam, you can do that. Let's say you only want to see your students' pretty faces, you can do that. Or as many teachers I know talk to, they don't want to see students because students show up in their pajamas with their cat in their lap, their brothers and sisters. So a lot of times they only do screen recording, but I'll do both. Then I can give title and instructions. So do that. And then what's awesome here is that I have some settings. So the first one is I changed my settings to anyone with the link because I'm going to send it off to everybody here in our awesome webinar so you can participate. But just like in your Google Docs, right, if you say only in my organization, that's going to limit people, in this case to @screencastify.com, so it cannot be shared outside. However, I've seen teachers submit for awesome things like having parents submit questions or tech support. And in that case, they've opened it up to anyone outside the organization. Or sometimes we have students who have different domains. That's why we have this right here. So I'm going to go back to anybody with the link. Video privacy here. I generally keep it to students can view their own video, not students can view all videos, unless you are doing an activity where you want everybody to respond to. And then email notifications. I do not do email notifications because I don't want a notification every time someone submits something. But it's really handy if you like create a permanent link and are like, this is our tech support link. If you have an issue, click on that link, record what your issue is, and then the tech person gets notified immediately when you do it. And then you just create it and it's saved. And then what's awesome right here is that it'll be saved in an awesome folder. I can get this nice link, or I can click right there and share to Classroom, which I don't have set up yet, but I'm going to do this one because this one was created yesterday. And I'm going to paste it in the chat so you can see what your students experience. So when you click on that link, you see it takes me to this wonderful page here. So I have my idea Screencastify webinar. My directions are, how can you use Submit to collect robust replies from your students? So I'm going to click record. I hope you're following along as well and you can record it. I have the option right here, right, to share what screen. We'll do this one. Hi, everyone. A great way to use Submit for robust replies is to give students the answer to be able to respond verbally, right? As a student, I was allowed via my 504 plan to be able to go through and be able to read my answers aloud, right? That was part of my 504 plan. But do you think I ever asked for that? I never asked for that. Teachers would forget, and it was hard. But now with the Submit, I can just go ahead and do that. And I can play it. Hi, everyone. I can start over, or I can submit it. And then here I can also download that video or share to Classroom. So I have those options there. So I'm going to give everybody a second to complete that. This is our submit page. I'm going to drop that in because it's got a lot of different help in there. I do see a question in the chat. I'm going to answer that in just a second. But here's our support page as well. That even has simple assignments, how to use it with, like, let's say Canvas, Classroom, Brightspace, Schoology, all those different things. So the Chrome browser, to answer your question, is the preferred browser using Submit, since the Chrome browser is needed to link the videos to both the teacher and student's Google Drive. So we primarily, it's going to work on Chrome to answer your question in here. So I'll drop this one in here if you have questions and drop that in there for you. So it's going to need to be Chrome. And then for the next question, is it submit.com? It's actually, if you just go to, it's for you, the best way to get through it is the extension, hamburger, submit. Otherwise, it's app.screencastify.com/submit. So I don't know where submit.com goes to, actually, to be honest. I'll have to test that out later. So the iPads I believe if it's, you have the ability, if it's on a Chrome browser, it's a good question. I believe it is only the Chrome browser currently in either a PC, Mac, or Chromebook. I'm gonna double check real quick to make sure. There we go. So, yes, so webcam assignments can be accessed on iPhones and iPads currently and Android devices. So that's the caveat, is that it's not the screen recording just yet. Excuse me. It is just the webcam, so they wouldn't be able to record their screen. So that is the caveat. So as we're coming to the top of the hour, we've got about 15 minutes left. I want to do this one, connect to your role, share you some resources and next steps for you, as well as my contact info again. And then we'll leave time so that way we can ask questions and learn. So in the chat, drop in either what's one way you could use Screencastify, you as the teacher, and what's one way your students could use Screencastify. So for me, what's one way I can use it? I can use it to model how to use something. So for example, a lot of time in class is spent teaching students how to, let's say, connect to a website. So how to access things on Schoology, how to access things on IXL or whatever you're using. I could use Screencastify to that. And then my students could use it as a way of doing social emotional check-ins with me, that I can have them do awesome responses about how they're doing. So we're getting some great answers here, which I love. Staff can show when they run into trouble. That's a big one. I love that one. Parents in virtual learning can record their child doing their vocational jobs. Love that. Oh yeah, great for ESL. Yeah, without the added pressure. I love this for ESL, or the new term I've heard is emerging bilinguals, because I never like to speak in front of people, so they'd be able to do that remotely. And what I found from talking to teachers and students is that anything that a student is required to like speak for, so whether it be like bilingual students, whether it be for foreign language class, whether it be singing or practicing the flute, the students will actually practice it more times and continue to record it before submitting it to get it right. So they're actually doing more practice than, let's say, they normally would. Oh yeah, written reflections when writing isn't the focus. I like that. Yeah, I love this one for remote drafting. We have issues supporting students when we cannot see, right? We're used to sticking over their shoulder. These are all some great ideas that we have here, right? Some ones that I put up are flipping, remediation, enrichment, differentiation, independence, thinking made visible, student voice, right? Demonstrate strategy. I love all these stuff that you have, virtual discussions and student-led discussions. I love a lot of people focusing, Amy said, some kids in our district need peer support. I love that as well. So many great, awesome things that we can do. So what are our next steps? In this slide deck, we have lots of implementation resources. The big things I would suggest you check out are Master the Screencaster. That is our awesome intro course. This is done by our own Neff. She is amazing. This one's just getting you started. So if you want to build off of what we've done today, this is where you're going to do it. This is also, Amy, to your question, will show you some of the people using the tool in action. I'll give you some more resources too for that. We also have Master the Screencaster Junior. So I always feel like we forget about the students when doing this. Master Screencaster Junior, great. That one's done by Holly Clark, if I remember, if anybody heard of her. And then we have our Genius course. This one's done by Alice Keeler, if people have heard of her. She's big on Twitter, in the Twitterverse. That one's more how to integrate it with Google Apps. So all the different apps she uses, and she uses this Genius course as well. We also are doing live webinar series with Neff. She's doing them multiple sessions. And so if you go to that awesome bit.ly record webinars, there's a bunch of webinars there. We also have on-demand webinars on the site that you can check out. So that one's bit.ly record webinars. We also, at this time, at the end, I'm going to show one more slide for the idea, and then I'll answer questions and post resources. But if you want to share your thoughts at the PD, you can do the bit.ly post PD survey to tell me how I did, what we can improve on. And then at our end, our webinar Wednesday. So ignite your students with an hour of code. So that will be November 4th. So that is awesome. So I am going to
Hey, Adam, after you are done with questions, I'm going to come back on because I have a few more slides, so I'll share after a few minutes too.
Perfect. So I'm actually going to get out of my slide deck and I'm going to drop resources. So if you would like to bring up your slides now, I can stop sharing. And I will get Amy the videos of people using the tools in action, as well as some other resources if people are interested. So please let me know.
Okay, so while Adam is getting some questions going from you guys, I am going to go ahead and share some additional events that we have coming up with IDEA. So thank you, Adam, first of all, and I know we'll do that again as we continue to get those questions answered for you. But as Adam said, if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you next Wednesday is our next Wednesday webinar. We do try to do these just about every Wednesday. Next Wednesday, November 4th, is going to be with Code HS, and we're going to be talking about how to ignite your students with an hour of code. So they're going to be showing us some resources that they have, getting ready for that CS Education Week in December, getting ready for Hour of Code in December. Next, I wanted to share with you, November 3rd is one of our IDEA workshops. This is a chat and create playground. There are going to be 6 sessions. You will be able to attend 3 of them during this workshop, but you will get videos for all 6. So even the ones that you don't get to attend, you will still get to experience. And if you go to our website and go to the Chat and Create Playground event, you'll see the different sessions. We've got sessions on Bitmojis, on Google Slides, on I think Student Voice and Choice. I forget Cami. I forget what the other ones are. But definitely go check that out, and we would love to have you join us on that day, maybe before or after you vote. And then last but not least, February 2021. I'm sure you have seen the announcements out there, but we have opened up registration for our virtual conference, IdeaCon. So Pajama PD, PD in your pajamas. We would love to have you join us. It is a month-long conference since we have teamed up with TCEA Convention and Exposition. So we're going to be putting out PD for the entire month of February. So go ahead and check that out. In the link, in the chat file, I am going to post right now links for how to access our events calendar, how to access all of our Wednesday webinar recordings that I talked about earlier today. So you will find this one there tomorrow, as well as all of the other ones we've done previously. And then there's also a link for your PDH for today. So that is coming through. And I see, let's see here. I see a question that came through, Adam. So while everybody's doing that, Adam, we do have a question. At what point should we consider going unlimited?
Great question. So for those of you who don't know, unlimited just means is that that's our upgrade from the free version. And so the biggest difference, right, is that you can, for record, you record 5 minutes is your limit for the free version. And then you get unlimited minutes for record. Same thing with edit, you can only export up to 5 minutes. And then you can go for record, and then submit, we said, is that 1. So there's 3 separate products. But my biggest thing, as I say, for record is it's better to go longer for yourself, because then you could do longer instructional videos. You're not limited to those 5 minutes. So if you're finding yourself, doing longer and longer lessons, that's when I would start upgrading. We do have that teacher discount on the price, so you can buy an individual license, or you can have your school generate a quote from the website, or reach out to me. I can point you in the right direction. So there's a lot of different things to be able to do, but that's the biggest one.
Fabulous. Let us know if you guys have any other questions about Screencastify, or even anything about IDEA. If you are not members, and I know we did have a bunch of people from all over, if you are not currently a member of IDEA, I definitely highly recommend joining. I'm going to put a bit.ly in the chat window right now, and membership with IDEA is free. So what it gets you is all of this great information, all of these great resources, invites to all of our events. So it's definitely behooves you to sign up, and basically what you're signing up for is the emails at this point, and then you get all of the opportunities to join us and get all the information. So like I said, Wednesday webinars like this, our Wednesday webinars are always free. We offer other opportunities for free professional development, for some paid professional development. We've started a new online course, so you can get certification on a number of different things. Screencasting is one of them, actually. And so, you can do these online certifications. We have workshops available, so all kinds of awesome stuff, and definitely highly recommend that you take advantage of that free membership and see what we got for you. So I am throwing that link in there. I don't think I typed it correctly, so I'm going to try again here. I think I typed a semicolon instead of a colon here. So let's try this again. There we go. So bit.ly, join IDEA free. Definitely would love to have you, and make sure we get that information out to you. Are you? Thank you for all the love that you guys are giving out. Well, I guess with that, unless you guys have any other questions, we will hang out for another minute or two. Otherwise, you guys are certainly welcome to take back 4 minutes of your evening. Go get dinner started. That's what I will be doing shortly. Other than that, thank you so much. Adam, thank you for your time today. Everybody else, thank you for joining us. This was a good one, so we appreciate it. And again, I'll be getting that email out to everybody tomorrow morning. So thank you.